Welcome to my first album, Healing Through the Science of Sound. When you listen to these shabuds, the sacred poetry of Sikh saints, you will be supporting your physical healing. You will embody the Naad, the sacred sound current, and healing will happen. By just listening to these words, you will immerse yourself in the deepest healing you can imagine. In the first track of this album, the healing album, is Mera Ved, and literally this means the Guru, that which brings me from darkness to light, is my physician, and he places the nectar of God's name into my mouth, and that is how I am healed. Mera Ved, Guru Govinda, Mera Ved, Guru Govinda. The second track, Harajio Tu Sukha Sampataras, and it says, my suffering has come to an end and I am fully healed. The Creator has given me the awareness of my soul, and in trusting in this, all fears are dispelled. So if I finally realize that I have a soul that's connected to something bigger than myself, and that I really am connected, and God is within, and that energy and that source is within, then in that moment I can be completely healed. The third track is Balo Samo. And really this one talks about our whole physical body is in worship to the Creator. So it talks about, with my eyes, I do this, and with my feet, I walk the path of Dharma. With my hands, I do your work. With my tongue, I sing thy glorious praises. And so for me, this was really interesting to think about, that our whole body can be a form of worship and a form of remembering the Creator. The fourth track is Ya Mandir Mein, and this track is really interesting. I've always loved singing this shabad. It really talks about, we're so wrapped up in our identity on the outside, and so the shabad says, you're not a yogi, you're not a king, you're not a beggar, you're not any of these things that we try to identify with. But the chorus keeps saying, so what is it that's in this temple? What is it that is in the temple of this body? Ya Mandir, Mandir is temple. And in the last line it says, it's the same that is made up of God. It's like the ink that's written on the paper, and it cannot be erased. So really the end is that, we aren't, this identity is not outside of us, but it's really the soul within. For this body is formed of the same essence as the divine, like ink on the paper, which cannot be erased. Ya Mandir Mein, Ya Mandir Mein, kaun basaye, taka ant na ko paai, kaun basaye, kaun basaye. The fifth track is from Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th saint, the 10th Guru of the Sikh faith, and being the warrior that he was. This is a really powerful track, and he talks a lot, and a lot of his poetry is about battle and being in the battlefield. And I really talked to a lot of people about this track, and there's a line, Juj Maro, and it means just like dying on the battlefield. So how does this relate to us in this day and age? And for me, this means that no matter how hard life is, that we just show up and we have this intention to show up and do the best we can and just do it anyway and be there and have the courage to do it and have the determination. And the final track is Dan Dan Ramdas Guru. I grew up knowing that reciting this shabad brings miracles in people's lives, and there are so many people who have stories about this. You can even Google it and you can find the stories that people have about how reciting this shabad has brought incredible things to their life. So when I researched it, I was surprised that it wasn't written by Guru Ramdas, the fourth Sikh saint. It actually is written by musicians of the court of, I think, the fifth Guru. And they weren't getting short story, they weren't getting what they wanted, and they left in a huff and said, well, everyone comes to see us anyway, the musicians. And that's, at the time, the Guru, the fifth Guru, said everyone should learn kirtan, everyone should learn how to sing. And so that's a big part of the Sikh faith, is anyone and everyone can sing. And then, they came to their senses and they wrote this whole poetry to the Guru, asking for forgiveness. And so to me, this is a story of forgiveness and surrender, and really being able to know that you are not in charge and there is something bigger, and that sometimes just kind of surrendering to this energy, that miracles can happen if you kind of just get out of your own way. And that's important in our life and our health. And so that's the final track. And I hope that you enjoy this album and that it brings so much love and healing and support to your life. Thank you.